Welcome to what is going to temporarily be the final part of the ultimate dual wield katana build in Elden Ring. In this one we are going to finalise the current build for the katanas. It is incredibly strong. I'm really hoping you guys have enjoyed the previous videos. I also hope you enjoyed this one. And just quickly, before we get into it, if you are not currently subbed to the channel, make sure you do sub, turn notifications on. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like. All support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to support me further as a creator, then check out the links in the description, and let's get into it. So now you've got Moonveil, Uchigatana, you've got the Meteorite Staff, you've got your crown, you've got your other armor pieces that are personal preference, you've got Radagon Soreseal, you've got the Filigreed Crest, you've got the Green Turtle Talisman, the Graven Skull one I can show you quickly if you are interested in that one. And you've also got the Flask of Wondrous Physic, which is mixed with the Intelligence Not Crystal tier and the Opaline Bubble tier. So heading back over to Raya Lucaria Academy, if you go to the Debate Parlour, which is the room where the boss is, and you go west, so back out of the room you would have come in order to fight the boss, on your right hand side when you get out here, there's going to be a secret wall. If you hit this wall using any weapon or whatever, come through here, there's going to be a stone sword key somewhere at the back over there, but there's a ladder on this left side. Climb up this ladder, and when you get to the top, you're going to run to the east and go all the way to the very back. Then what you're going to do is jump over here, drop down into this hole, drop down into this hole. Then you're going to see a bunch of crystals, and on that crystal like formation, whatever, there's going to be the Graven Skull Talisman. Then what you can do is just come out of this door here. You're going to be led back to the hallway. So if I sprint away from all the magic, I come past this enemy here. Don't hit me. Forget about it. Sight of Grace, here we go. Reset the aggro. So that's the Graven Skull Talisman. So the last thing we are doing is going for a skill that we can use. It's an Ash of War, and it can be used on any melee armament. We're going to put it on our Uchigatana for this build. So if you grabbed the 2 medallion halves and you've made your way to the Grand Lift of Dectus, from there you want to make sure that you are following the road and you come up this like massive staircase here. When you get to this staircase, stick to the top side, to the left-hand side, because the arrows will not hit you this way. But make your way all the way to the top, avoiding all the combat. Get yourself to the Outer Wall Phantom Tree. What you need to do is make your way into the capital. In order to do that, if you go from the Outer Wall Phantom Tree all the way up until you get to the Outer Wall Battleground, follow that east, come up the staircase that's there, follow this all the way along, and you're going to get to a Draconic Tree Sentinel here. Take that bastard down, he's an absolute pain in the arse. And then you're going to make it to Capital Rampart. When you get to the Capital Rampart, there's going to be a seal on this door. What you need to have done is obtained 2 great runes. So you need to take down 2 bosses like Radahn, Godric. There's also the Full Moon Queen, Renala, I think it is. There are a couple of others in the game that you can take down, but you need 2 great runes. Then you go to the Roundtable Hold, and once you are in the Roundtable Hold, what you're going to do is turn right and head up into this room here. You are going to interact with the 2 fingers. That's going to break the seal on that door. You can also interact with this person. They are a vendor. But as long as you have 2 great runes, you interact with the 2 fingers, that'll break the seal. You can also purchase some of their armor sets, so you can get Radahn's helmet, like pretty much his full-on set, which is some of the stuff I use. But go back up to Capital Rampart, and it will have broken the seal on the door. So when this seal is broken, if you make your way into the capital, what you are going to do is, you won't have to pull the lever if it's the first time you've been here. You're going to make your way to a site of grace called Avenue Balcony. So on the elevator we go. When we get to the very top, there's going to be some loot and stuff in this area. This place looks fantastic if you've never been here before. But just keep following the path. There's nowhere that you can really, there's no other directions you can go. It's just a straight narrow path. Over there, I believe, like up on this altar sort of thing, there's going to be a loot drop. I can't remember what it is. But you're going to make your way out here. Keep going to the end. At the end of this section, you are going to do a right, because if you don't, you will fall to your death. So down there would be where you fall. So head to the right, there's going to be a site of grace. And this site of grace is going to be called East Capital Rampart. From here, what we're going to do is make our way down these stairs, and you are going to come to Leyndell Royal Capital. From here, make your way left. Ignore these weird enemies. I like to call them snowmen. And just keep coming all the way along. They're not going to cause any damage. They're really, really slow at attacking. But when you get to here, you're going to drop down to the right-hand side. And then you're going to come to this edge. You're going to jump off onto the gold rooftops. You're going to follow these all the way along, ignoring all the combat you can. Ignore the weird gargoyle imp goblin things. And when you get to this section here, there's going to be an Erd Tree boss. So be careful, it won't spawn in until you get further along. But when you do get along here, it will spawn in about now. I've taken it down previously, which is why you won't see it. But you're going to come to this right-hand side. You can just ignore the Erd Tree boss. There's going to be a site of grace. This one is Avenue Balcony. So from Avenue Balcony, what you're going to do is come down here. Be very careful. There is a dangerous enemy along here. I say dangerous because this archer fires lightning arrows at you. And they really hurt if they catch you. But over on this guy's side, jump down here. You're going to see a scarab. This scarab, once you take it down, is going to give you the Ash of War Thunderbolt. So now if we can get ourselves out of aggro, I think that was perfectly done if you ask me. Oh, maybe not. There's a fucking big dude. I mean, I found a new site of grace. What are you fucking doing? Okay, well, luckily for me, my runes were right there. It spawned me back at this site of grace. You're going to see a couple of loot drops. If you grab these are Lionel's, his armor set. And the reason you're also going to get a deathbed dress. But the reason I'm a little bit funny is if we put this dude's armor set on. Yes. Look at me. You cannot roll, you cannot jump. This set is so fucking heavy. His chest is 21.2. I mean, if you've got a bunch of points in endurance, you might be able to pull it off, but I highly doubt it. The legs are 13.1, the gauntlets are 7.1, the chest is 21.2, and the helmet is 9.1. It has very, very nice damage negation, but I mean, I'm not surprised. Look at the gut on this. It's kind of like mine in real life. So at this point, you should have every single thing for this build currently. I'm going to continue working on this one, just to see if I can push it any further. But you should have the Moonveil as highly leveled as possible. The same with the Uchigatana. The Meteorite Staff can't be leveled up in the game. But then you should also have the Lazuli Glintstone Crown and any other armour that you fancy wearing. Then Radagon Sword Seal, Carian Filigreed Crest, Graven Skull Talisman, Green Turtle Talisman. There are a bunch of others you can use with this build. It's entirely up to you, but these are the ones I'm going to currently go for. Then in your Flask of Wondrous Physic, you should have the Intelligence Not Crystal tier and the Opaline Bubble tier. So what I'm going to do is go all the way from the capital, back down to Gatefront. I'm going to put the Ash of War onto my Uchigatana, level it up a little bit. So I probably should have gone to the Roundtable Hold. So what I recommend you do at this point is make sure that you have your Moonveil and your Lightning Uchigatana in your right hand. If you put the Lightning Uchigatana in your left hand, you can't use the Ash of War. That's why it's really good to have the Samurai as your class for this and run 2 Uchigatanas and the Moonveil, because you can have your Lightning one in your right hand, so your main hand, alongside the Moonveil. Then you can have your staff, like you're going to have to work on endurance. You're going to have to get your equip load up. So you'll run your staff in order to put your sigil down from Terra Magicus. but then you'll also have a katana in your second hand as well. So realistically, you're looking for 3 katanas if possible, and a staff, or you're looking for 2 katanas, a random weapon to have that's really strong for physical damage. So I mean, depending on your equip load, you could have something like Bloodhound's Fang. There's absolutely no point running Sword of Night and Flame. You would just take any weapon that's going to be really good for physical damage. Because if we take a look at this, if I lock onto this guy, obviously I've got Transient Moonlight on the Moonveil. If this guy actually takes some damage, there you go, 116, 51, 51, and finish him off with another 51. So as long as you've got your Moonveil with Transient Moonlight in your right hand, and you've also got the Uchigatana with Thunderbolt on, you can take any Ash of War you want. It's just that I personally wanted to go with Thunderbolt. You can take Bleed, Fire, Lightning, whatever Ash of War you want to take, but obviously one that goes on a melee armament. And then all I've got to do is just lock onto this guy, press my left trigger, and it just drops lightning onto him. And obviously it doesn't do a lot of damage, but if you can find... It gives you like variety, because you take Transient Moonlight, it's going to absolutely wreck these enemies. But there's going to be enemies in the game that are not weak against Transient Moonlight. As you saw with the Bloodhound boss, absolutely fucking ripped him a new one. But there's going to be enemies that are weak to lightning, so it's going to be really good. And not only that, it scales with the level of your weapon. So if I go and put a couple of levels into my Uchigatana quickly, it was hitting for 51 when he was shielding and 116 the base. Okay, so you can take down bosses fairly easy with Transient Moonlight. You've just got to figure out their attacks and things like that. And as I said with them crystal bosses, just break their armor. So I didn't have a clue this was going to happen, but I went off to level up my Uchigatana. I went up to the lake and I went to the Raya Lucaria Crystal Tunnel. Took down that boss, which is what I showed you. Got the bell bearing, took it to the Twin Maiden Husks, so that I can unlock a forever supply of level 1 and 2 smithing stones. I didn't realise how many level 3, 4, 5 and 6 I had. I've taken my Uchigatana straight from level 1 up to plus 16. So now I have a plus 6 Moonveil and a plus 16 Uchigatana. So now, if I attack this guy and I use the Thunderbolt, it now one-taps him. From 116 to 555. If I come down here, I mean, I can pretty much just use lightning for all of them. The range isn't amazing. You have to be quite close. There you go. He's dead. You, my friend. Yep, you're gone too. What about your buddy down here? You've been quite tough in the past. Let's have a go with you. Yeah. One more. So that was 3 hits with a plus 16. And you can get the standard weapons, like an Uchigatana, up to plus 25. So imagine a further 9 levels on this. See, this is why I strongly recommend upgrading your weapons. Because it's not always about the weapon you have, it's about the level of the weapon. You saw the difference. I almost times it by 5. The amount of damage I do. And if you find enemies that are weak to lightning, yeah, this can be insane. Let's try it against these. 421, so that's 2 hits. 3, 4, 5. So just 6. If I got like another 2 levels in my Uchigatana, I could easily take these down in like 5 hits. And I don't even have to be that close. I mean, I just crit that guy. So that was 3. That's 4 hits and he's gone. See, but the thing is with this, you're going to... Like, it's a lot more risky. You don't have a chest armor on. You have really, really weak sort of armor because it's got to be such a light load. And not only that, you're using FP at the same time. So, like, even switching over to the Transient Moonlight Moonveil, you're going to be using FP. So work on your intelligence, get that built up, upgrade your weapons as much as you possibly can, and then just make sure that you've got the stuff we've covered in this video, and you're going to be OP as shit. Like, if you find an enemy that's weak to lightning, you're going to have a very good time, especially if that's a big boss. But that's why you run the things like, I've got a crystal knife, so it weighs 2. It's not the greatest for damage, I can upgrade it and make it even better. And I got this from the Raya Lucaria Crystal Tunnel. But with this, I now have a second weapon, so I can dual wield still. But I can switch between, and enemies really strong against lightning, it doesn't deal a lot of damage, I can pull out the Moonveil. Oh, they're really weak to lightning, I can pull out the Uchigatana with Thunderbolt. But the whole time, I've got this tiny little dagger that still does good damage and lets me dual wield. But then, oh no, I need to use Terra Magicus so that I can boost Transient Moonlight. And I switch out to my staff, I pop that sigil down, and I've got extra damage when I do the attacks from the Moonveil. So it all synergizes and creates a fantastic build that's a lot of fun. You're not relying on these range spells, like if I put on Rock Sling, lock onto this guy, you're not relying on things like this with a sorcerer, but it is still really, really good. You get that difference of range, and now because you're running katanas and little knives or daggers, you're up close and personal. So it changes up the playstyle. You can run it on any class in the game. I'm using the Astrologer. But obviously, as I said, with the Samurai, you'll have an extra Uchigatana because you start the game with one. So it's going to be a little bit better because it only weighs 5.5. So even though it's 3.5 more than this crystal knife, if you put a few points into your endurance, you'll be able to run this exact stuff at a medium load. So far out of the builds I've put together in the game, this is one of the most fun. I mean, they're all really, really powerful when you do get them put together, you're leveling everything up. But another good thing about these katanas is they cause blood loss build-up. So after multiple hits on an enemy, like they're going to be building up to blood loss, and then it's a status effect, so it's how you would suffer from blood loss. They're going to suffer, but they take a big hit in one. So if there's an enemy that takes, I don't know, say 6, 7, maybe even 8 hits or something like that, they're going to take lose a big chunk of their health bar when you are using the katanas. But that's why I would recommend getting yourself another sort of katana or the Uchigatana if you're running the Samurai, because you want, like when you're attacking with two, like when you're dual wielding katanas, you want that blood loss build up from both of them. But that was a look at an incredibly overpowered dual wield katana build in Elden Ring. That is going to wrap this one up. Let me know your thoughts and stuff about it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed it.